You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. Here with Jeff and Ken. How are you both today?
Good afternoon, Neal.
Doing fine.
Yep.
Is it afternoon or evening? Evening?
I believe it's evening.
Evening, afternoon, I suppose, on the West Coast.
The sun has just begun to dip a little bit in the sky.
Yeah.
So we'll call it evening.
Happy Eurovision week to anyone who celebrates, like I do.
To those who celebrate.
To those who celebrate. That's why Matt isn't here today.
It's also Nurses Week at the time of recording, Neal.
Is it
to
Nurses
those who
Week?
Celebrate.
To those who celebrate. And then there's also Nurses Eurovision Week where the nurses perform a pop song for their selected country.
Oh, that's good TV.
That would be good TV. That's why Matt isn't here, though. He actually traveled to Liverpool, England, where Eurovision is taking place in honor of Ukraine, because Ukraine won last year, and they weren't able to host it due to the conflict. So Matt followed the twin brothers of Azerbaijan, just like people follow U2 around the world, and he's going to go check them out. So have fun, Matt.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Someone will, and that's all that matters. But yeah, exactly. But we have a great show for you today because we have two people that we brought along that are just going to elevate Matt's absence that much more. So we're super excited to welcome back someone who hosted a bonus episode that I believe, Ken, you played with. Was that One Piece?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
it was a blast.
It was a blast. It was. I do remember that. I don't know anything about
One
One
Piece. And now Jeff is on board.
Oh, he is.
I want to say he started
on
reading.
board the merry-go. Yes.
He's about he's about a third through. So
Okay.
we're getting underway here.
And I think we have
Quarter?
It's at least a quarter.
Quarter.
Not quite a third.
We have this person to thank, I think, for that maybe. So we want to introduce him from Huntsville, Alabama. Not a Robot supporter on Patreon. Jared Seale. How are you, Jared?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. So much fun to invite you back and to know that you wrote a game for us. So why don't you remind the folks at home what you're up to and who you are?
Yeah, I'm just up here chilling in North Alabama. I'm a software engineer and I like trivia, so here I am.
Well, thank you so much for writing today's game. And speaking of One Piece, Ken here can probably talk about it a lot, and so can Jeff. I don't know anything about it. So from your vantage point from writing the bonus game, is there one character that everyone should check out, you Google and learn a little bit about?
Oh, man, what a question.
It's hard to say without spoiling the whole thing.
My favorite character is Law. He's a real cool guy. So if you like that guy and like how he looks on the internet, maybe don't look too much, but that'll be a good starting point.
Law is a cool guy.
Well, speaking
we like Law. Jeff doesn't know Law yet, but he will.
You don't know Law? How about Judge Dredd, who is the Law?
Intimately familiar.
Speaking of Law, though, what a great transition that Jared didn't even know that he made. Let's introduce our guests, and we'll have them talk a little bit about how Jude Law is going to be in the proceedings today. Introducing from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Tim Dippel. How are you, Tim?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about you and the project that you're working on.
Yeah, so I am Tim. I am a cybersecurity analyst here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am one of the hosts of currently I host of Pub Trivia Experience and Boozy Bracketology, but I am in the process of launching a separate podcast called Frenemy Trivia, basically taking two teams of two and then pitting them against each other. And then in the second half, whichever team survives the first half then turns on each other. And, it's a one-on-one trivia match. So by the time this gets started, by the time this airs, I think we'll be about 2 or 3 weeks into that. So
wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking it out.
And that's with a mutual friend of ours of the show?
That's right.
Yeah, it is myself and Brittany Shaw.
Shout out to Brittany.
Yeah, that's
Congrats
awesome.
on the new venture.
Yeah, and Pub Trivia Experience is a great show. I had the privilege of being on that it was just one episode, but I think I did pretty good. I almost won, so I felt good about it, but it was just more of a fun experience in general. But been hearing great things about boozy bracketology. So I'd love to maybe guest on that at some point.
Oh, we'd love to have you over there.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And why don't you tell us who you're partnering with and how Jude Law is getting involved?
Yeah, so I think I am going to partner with Ken and playing on the show that I'm getting ready to launch. We're going to be Frenemy at the Gates.
Very nice.
All right, and Jeff?
The man with the dry erase board writes his answer. The man without the marker follows him. When the man without the dry erase board dies, the man with the marker picks up the dry erase board and writes his answer. Is that too deep?
No, I liked it.
All right, thank you.
That was good. Jeff?
We'll cut that.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it'll be in there. Jeff, we are going to be partners today, and while we didn't have a good Jude Law pun, actually we did. Ken had one. Do you want to say it, Ken, or no?
Which one?
The Rachel Weisz one.
No.
Okay, so Ken won't say that one.
If you're outlawing it as the team name, then it's not worth it.
All right, well, Jeff...
Clearly, it was not appropriate for the podcast.
You're a fan of Owen Wilson, and you like when Owen Wilson is in
Yeah.
in many a predicament.
Yeah.
So we're going to be behind frenemy lines.
Indeed.
Wow, it's like I'm behind the lines. There's a bunch of bad guys over here.
Owen, is that you? You're here on Triviality?
Wow, can't wait for Asteroid City.
Everyone, I think, is just waiting with bated breath for Asteroid City. Well, I guess let's hear the rules from Owen Wilson. He's here. Let's have him do it live.
The rules of the game are simple.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
What is Asteroid City? I'm not familiar with this
That
property.
is the new Wes Anderson.
New Wes Anderson movie, yeah. If you like...
I don't think he's actually in it, but I'm sure he's following Wes Anderson's career with interest.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there. He's in the new Haunted Mansion movie, so that's what he was up to.
I was too busy.
Too busy hanging out with ghosts. Well, Jared, feel free to take it away. We're ready to play over here, and I guess the winner is going to get a bargain bin copy of either Enemy at the Gates or Behind Enemy Lines, so we'll see what happens.
DVD only.
Only DVD, yeah.
I request Laserdisc.
No Blu-ray.
All right, well, we're going to kick it off with question 1. Each of the big 4 leagues in American sports, that is to say the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB, culminate their seasons with a championship and a trophy that the winners get to take home. For 2 points each, and 10 if you can get them all, name each of the 4 trophies that the winners of the big 4 postseasons receive.
We're going to go ahead and lock in.
All right, so I know 2. I know the Stanley Cup, and I know the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, those are the 2 I had. I want to say that for some reason O'Brien is standing out, or is jumping to mind. I don't know. I think that's the NBA one. But
okay. I'm down with
know
whatever you say on those because I really don't know. I just know what they look like. One looks like a basketball, and the other looks like a bunch of like flags or something.
Like pendants, yeah.
I honestly didn't know that Major League Baseball had a name for it. I thought it was just like the World Series trophy.
That sounds good to me. So we'll say the 2 I said, O'Brien and World Series.
Yeah, Jeff and I quickly wrote down the Lombardi for the NFL, named after a team that shall not be named, and then...
or rather their coach for
their
the 50s
coach,
and 60s,
yeah. Stanley Cup for hockey, and then, yeah, we don't really know the basketball one. We wrote down Jerry West, but we think that's the MVP for the finals. And then the baseball one's probably named after some random commissioner, so we have no idea on
We just said World Series trophy again on that one.
Yeah.
So the NFL has the Vince Lombardi Trophy. The NHL has the Stanley Cup, the NBA has the Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy, and the MLB, Neal, has the Commissioner's Trophy. You're knocking on the door of it, but didn't quite get there.
Oh, damn.
All right, so 6 points for us and 4 for you.
Question 2. What sea's name contains root words from Latin meaning middle and earth?
Second breakfast.
So... Yeah, these guys locked in quickly, and I think they're probably thinking the same thing that we are. What did you want to say?
I mean, am I overthinking it by saying Mediterranean?
I think you are not overthinking it.
You're definitely not overthinking it. And I think it's Mediterranean.
It surely is the Mediterranean Sea. Question 3. One of America's most famous landmarks is the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. Built in 1923, the sign originally had an extra 4-letter word at the end, which lasted until renovation began in 1949. What did the sign originally say?
From all the period pieces I've seen, I know that it says Hollywood Land.
Yeah, I think it was actually meant to represent a local subdivision or something like that. Like it was an advertisement for the subdivision, and then Hollywood bought it.
They're like, this is our thing now. Great.
And we said Hollywood Land.
It was Hollywood Land, yes.
I didn't know if I should say Hollywood Land or Hollywoodland. So
I wonder how much it costs to buy that Miami sign that doesn't really exist.
Oh yeah, from Bad
all
Boys.
The movies, yeah,
and all the other ones.
It's like really small too, right?
Yeah,
it's like a small model.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that too. There's a lot of stuff like that. I never knew that the thing in Men in Black, like the Earth thing that that blows up at the end. I always thought that was Universal Studios, but it's actually in New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Question 4. The prehistoric animal Dimetrodon, a schooner, and Elton John's debut album Empty Sky all have what feature in common?
My guess would be AWOL Nation's biggest hit would also fit into this list. So I think maybe it's things with sails.
That works. I was going with a fin.
A fin?
But that's really just
fin. What would be like Elton John's fin?
So like musically, fin means end. So maybe that was the final track of the album.
Good thinking. Okay, yeah, I like that.
But I'm okay with sail too. I'm not strong on
I think
fin.
you would. So if what is it called? A Dimetrodon has like a thing sticking up. I'm pointing my hand up in the air. I would call that a fin and not a sail. So let's go with fin.
Okay, so we'll go with fin.
Yeah, and we said for the prominent feature on the dinosaur's back, sail.
They all have sails. The Dimetrodon has a spinal sail, a schooner is a type of sailboat, and Elton John's debut album features a track called Sails.
Sorry for talking you out of that.
Oh, that's okay. No worries.
Christopher Cross would also be involved in this. Sail Away. Or sailing, sailing.
Question 5. The 5th installment of the Elder Scrolls franchise, Skyrim, has notoriously seen many re-releases over the years. But on the date of its original release, the month, day, and last 2 digits of the year were all the same number. On what date did Skyrim come out?
Yep, locked in.
Was it like something like 11/11/11?
Well, I think. Well, I guess that would make sense. Most video game releases are before Christmas. I was thinking that the question was indicating it had to be like January 1st, 11. Yeah, I think 11/11/11.
All right, let's go with it.
And that's what we locked in with.
It was November 11th, 2011, 11/11/11.
I remember where I was that
We
day.
nailed it. I think somewhere deep in my subconscious, I had the like advertisement floating around back there. But after this first round, it looks like we have racked up 36 points. And you guys doing just slightly better with 44.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to question 6. American Thanksgiving has been on the 4th Thursday of November since FDR signed a resolution in 1941. This changed it from being the final Thursday in November, which was the case when it was originally declared a national holiday many years earlier. Within 2 years, what was this year in which American Thanksgiving was first declared an official statewide national holiday?
Well, he said many, so that's a many. So that's what we're going to lock in with.
All right, they're locked in. So did you have an inkling, or should we just pick a year in the 1800s?
So I feel like it was declared by Lincoln is actually something that's kind of in the back of my mind.
Do you think it was like a little Civil War, like levity?
Possibly. And I mean, with Lincoln being when he was, I feel like 1863 covers his entire, the 2 years either way covers his entire presidency.
I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to say 1863.
So actually, we're Pretty close. We guessed 1862.
Abraham Lincoln declared American Thanksgiving a national holiday and Tim nailed it, 1863.
Nice.
Well done.
Yes, well done. But no one says fourscore anymore.
You're welcome to say score as many times as you want, as it fits in context, Neal. You can continue on the proud tradition
Of saying score?
Yeah, you're approaching the 2-score mark yourself. So,
What things do you measure in 20s?
Cash money.
dollar bills, y'all.
So a score is 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Question 7. Without your God-given sensitivity, we would be immersed in greater ignorance at the anguish of AIDS and HIV sufferers, the plight of the homeless, the isolation of lepers, the random destruction of landmines. That was a quote taken from a eulogy delivered at whose funeral given by her brother?
Any initial ideas on this one?
My first initial reaction is Princess Diana. I feel like she didn't. I believe she did a lot of work with AIDS and HIV sufferers, and she was always, for the downtrodden. And I think she made landmines her thing.
Okay, and had a brother.
That I don't know. That's the one part that I don't feel comfortable on.
Okay.
But everything else I think fits.
I like the answer, so let's go with it.
Lady Diana Spencer, she did have a brother.
Yeah.
Mr. Spencer.
Mr. Spencer, he owned a bunch of shops in the United States that have weird gifts and posters and stuff. Yeah, we agree. I saw a great thread.
Princess Diana's brother is a dildo salesman.
Which is really weird because before that, his business was weed because it used to be Spencer's Dispensaries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we agree. I saw a great thread during King Charles' coronation where they were trying to pull focus from him and talk about all the great things Diana did. And there's a great thread about her shaking hands with HIV sufferers and kind of bring it to the forefront. So we said Princess Diana.
It was Princess Diana. The eulogy was by her brother, Charles Spencer.
I'm not going to lie. The monarchy might still be relevant if she was around today.
Who knows if she would be in it at this point, too.
Just saying.
Yeah. I'm just saying. That's like a nice catchphrase from like a 90s sitcom for Jeff. I'm just saying.
It's Jeff.
Who ate all the tacos? I'm just saying.
Look, I'm hungry. I'm just saying.
I hate it.
Question 8. With 22, what person holds the record for most Oscars won at the Academy Awards?
You locked in automatically here?
Yeah, we can lock in.
I want to say John Williams.
That was my gut, too.
But I wonder if there's like some obscure costumer or something. But I won't be able to come up with any other intelligent answer if it is. So let's just say John Williams, shall we?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So John Williams is second to this person in nominations, almost beating them, depending on how long John Williams will live, hopefully for a long time. But this person is Walt Disney.
Oh, I forgot.
It was Walt Disney, all of which were in the categories of Best Short Subject or Best Documentary. It's not what you think you would win for. Okay, this next question contains a word that I meant to look up how to pronounce and I forgot. So here we go. Question 9. The Hornbostel Sax is a classification system broken down into 5 top levels, which further break down into over 300 lower categories. The top 5 levels of the system are the idiophones, membranophones, chordophones, aerophones, and electrophones. What does the Hornbostel Sax classify?
All right, Jeff. I remember you've regaled me before with the Hornbostel Sax, talking about it. You like your Sax that have dice. You like your Slacks. You like the app called Slack. So I'm going to trust you that we can lock in.
I hate Slack. No offense to Slack, but
I know we tried to use it and Ken.
I don't need another.
So angry.
I don't need another messaging.
Slack's a little too busy.
So what are you thinking? Musical instruments comes to mind.
That was my first thought. I don't have any strong feeling on this whatsoever.
All right,
but I mean, looking at it,
things with a membrane, things with strings,
arrow could be
things
like
with
wood
air passing through it, and then
I'm okay
things with the electric.
Instruments.
I don't know what idiophones would be, but yeah, let's say musical instruments.
All right, Jeff, time to shine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this all points to classifications of instruments. So that's what we went with.
That's right. It's musical instruments.
Is that? I'm guessing that's two different people it's named after, Mr.
Sure.
Hornbostel and Mr. Sax.
That goes past the amount of research I did for this question, but that would make sense.
Yes, Erich Moritz von Hornbostel and Kurt Sachs.
The fact that Jeff came up with that off the top of his head is just mind blowing.
And it was first published in 1914 in a periodical called Zeitschrift für Ethnologie.
Schnell.
Question 10 contains food math. If I order 4 Whoppers from Burger King, 3 Double Downs from KFC, 2 Baconators from Wendy's, and 1 Big Mac from McDonald's, how many slices of bread will I have?
So here is my thought.
Go for it.
So Whoppers, 2 pieces of bread each. That brings us to 8. Okay, Baconators, I'm guessing 2 pieces of bread as well.
Right.
2 of those, that brings us to 12. And
Correct.
then 3 pieces of bread on 1 Big Mac. So we're at 15. Are the Double Downs the things wedged between 2 pieces of chicken?
I think so. I'm
So
pretty
no
sure
bread.
that's the chicken with the chicken sandwich. So I had 15.
Yeah, I had 15 too. I think he was trying to get us with the Double Downs.
Yeah, I think both the Double Downs and the Big Mac are meant to be.
We had the exact same math, and we think that Jared was being a little cheeky, so we said 15.
I am being a little cheeky. It is 15. So 4 Whoppers is 8 slices. There is no bread in a Double Down. 2 Baconators is 4 slices, and a Big Mac has 3 slices.
So after the first half, we have 3 score and 16 points. And you guys have 4 score and 14 points.
It's all making sense now.
Does that wet your whistle for score-based math, Neil?
Anytime I'm in the studio, my whistle is always wet.
It does score in score.
Ah, there you go. Now, speaking of Jared, we're going to put you on the spot here, Jared, just to say thank you for being a patron, and we appreciate it. If you'd like to join Jared and get a bunch of bonus audio content every month and get ad-free episodes of all our new episodes for as little as $1 a month, you can go to patron.com/trivialitypodcast, and you can hang out with people like Jared. We don't have a place to hang out, but if we did, you would hang out with someone like Jared because he's pretty cool. And you also hang out with people like Tim as well. So
when you're hanging out with Jared, when you go back to your wife and she's mad, she's like, where have you been all this time? You could say, I went to Jared.
There you go. Exactly. So yeah, if you want to hang out with Jared and say that to your wife or your partner, go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast and help support the show. So Jared, what do we have in store for the swing round today?
Today's swing round consists of crossword ease. So I'm a big crossword nerd, and from doing them, I've learned that certain words appear far more often than others due to their letter makeup being friendly to crossing other words. For each question, I'll give you 3 different clues from some instances these words have been used in the New York Times crosswords, and you just have to give me the correct word.
Okay.
All right.
Number 1, 4 letters, 2-tone treat, snack item since 1912, McFlurry mix-in. Number 2, 4 letters, obsessed captain, Starbucks superior, Melville monomaniac. Number 3, 3 letters, sinus doc, towering figure in The Two Towers, suffix with exist. Number 4, 4 letters, revealer of the wizard, Baum Barker, group with Grammy's 1982 Record of the Year. Number 5, 4 letters, lake bordering 4 states, spooky sounding lake, one of the greats. Number 6, 4 letters, first name in R&B, James with a jazzy voice, place close to Sundance. Number 7, 6 letters, African menace, fly in a jungle, sub-Saharan scourge. Number 8, 4 letters, daughter of Cronus, Greek goddess of marriage, Juno's Greek counterpart. Number 9, 4 letters, Olympic poker, it can have a French or pistol grip, tool for a duel. And number 10, 3 letters, neighbor of GA, in the manner of cookbook phrase.
All right, we'll work on these crosswords, and we'll be right back after these messages.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end,
What will I become?
Senwa Saga, Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Hey guys, Matt here. Just sending you a quick reminder that this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be hosting a live trivia game on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/trivialitymatt, and you can play along on the TrivNow app. And if you miss it and you're listening to this a little bit later, it's actually going to be saved on the page, and we're going to be doing these every third Saturday of the month. So be on the lookout and make sure you like and subscribe.
We are back, and we had a great time coming up with these crossword clues. So let's hear the questions one more time, and we'll give our answers.
All right. So number 1 was 4 letters, 2-tone treat, snack item since 1912, McFlurry mix-in.
All right. So for this one, we had Oreo.
A mutual friend of ours might say Hydrox is better, but we locked in with Oreo.
Wow, is that mutual friend me?
Do you also like Hydrox better?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say that just to stir up controversy.
It was Oreo. Number 2, 4 letters, obsessed captain, Starbucks superior, Melville monomaniac.
For this one, we said Ahab.
Yep, we also said Ahab.
It was Ahab. Number 3, 3 letters, sinus dock, towering figure in the 2 towers, suffix with exist.
And I just realized what the sinus doc was referring to, but we finally landed on ent.
Yeah.
I get it too.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about an ear, nose, and throat. Yeah, we said ent.
Yep, ent is correct.
You know, when you go to the ENT and they stick the probe down your nose to like look with the camera, they always say, "Hello, my precious."
Neil, where are the Entwives? That's what I want to know.
The Entwives?
Where are they?
Well, they started in Orange County. Then there was a Beverly Hills. And then there was a Miami. And then there was an Atlanta.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4, 4 letters, revealer of the wizard, Bomb Barker, group with Grammy's 1982 Record of the Year.
We said Toto.
Yeah, that's not even their good song. We said Toto.
That's a good song.
Yeah. Number 4 was Toto.
A lot of people don't know, speaking of John Williams earlier, that's his son who leads that band.
Yeah.
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
Is that true?
Like a whole super group of like musicians' kids.
Yeah.
I think it was only for a period in the 80s. I don't think it's long term, but yeah, he definitely fronted Toto.
Yeah, that's really cool. And as Jeff knows, from looking at court files, you never want to say that you're the revealer of the wizard because that'll get you in big trouble.
Number 5, 4 letters, lake bordering 4 states, spooky sounding lake, one of the greats.
A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. We said Erie.
Yeah, we said Erie. And Jared, I don't know if you've ever seen Erie, Indiana, the TV show, but you should check it out.
I have not, but that's correct. Number 6, 4 letters, first name in R&B, James with a jazzy voice, place close to Sundance.
And on this one, we went with Etta.
Yeah, we thought the first 2 clues were both about the same person, and we took a stab and said Etta for Etta James.
Etta's correct. And the place close to Sundance one is talking about Etta Place, who is the Sundance Kid's partner.
Oh, okay. That's why. Okay,
It's a little tricky one.
Yeah. We were thinking about the actual location of Sundance.
I was like, where in Utah is this? Etta. I've never heard of Etta, Utah.
Number 7, 6 letters, African menace, fly in a jungle, sub-Saharan scourge.
So, Tim, you had a different idea. What was that one?
So for a brief second, I considered dengue, which fits, but you talked me out of that one.
Yeah, we went with, I think that's a really smart answer, but it may be too hard for a crossword puzzle. So we said tsetse.
We too said tsetse.
Tsetse is correct. And if you do enough crosswords, you start to realize there are a few things too hard for crosswords. You kind of have to make do sometimes. Number 8, 4 letters, daughter of Cronus, Greek goddess of marriage, Juno's Greek counterpart.
Yeah, the only thing missing would be to call Phoenix 2. It's Hera. Star Wars joke.
We said Hera.
It is Hera. Number 9, 4 letters, Olympic poker. It can have a French or pistol grip. Tool for a duel.
We said foil on this one.
Oh, that's what I was trying to think of, Jeff. What was the foil? The sword, the very thin sword. What did you lock in with?
Wear your foil.
Well, I wear foil hats sometimes when I think that the aliens are coming to get me. What did we lock in with, Jeff? Because I could not think of the word foil for the life of me.
I couldn't either. The only thing 4 letters that had to do with the duel, we said pace.
So this is a great example of a word that you might not hear very much in regular life, but if you do crosswords, you come across it almost daily. It is épée, E-P-E-E.
Oh. First miss, too, from both teams.
And finally, number 10, 3 letters, neighbor of G-A, in the manner of, cookbook phrase.
And for this one, we had Allah, A-L-A.
As did we.
It is A-L-A, Allah, or Alabama.
So the swing round has not swung the scores too much. It's still 121 for Frenemy at the gates and 139 for behind Frenemy lines. That was difficult.
Yeah. Who else is in? Is that Gene Hackman with Owen Wilson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love a good Gene Hackman movie, especially when he's chewing up the scenery. If you haven't seen Crimson Tide before, you get Denzel and Gene Hackman yelling at each other. And what better way can you enjoy a movie?
And speaking of movies, round 2 kicks off with a sort of movie question. Question 1. In the category of things you probably didn't know were connected, Todd Field is the inventor of the baseball-themed bubblegum Big League Chew, as well as the director of what 2023 Oscar Best Picture nominee?
We can lock in.
So I think the original flavor that Big League Chew was going to be was unpopular, and it was going to be tar.
Okay, I like that answer. Yeah. I was racking my brain. I don't follow the Oscars all that much.
That idea was rejected, and he just had to get the tar out of his system, so he directed Tar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of one of his previous films called Little Children. I think it's a favorite of people who work at Maytag, but we locked in with Tar.
What does that mean?
It's a very, very
Jackie
deep
Earl
cut.
Haley like a vacuum repairman?
Oh, no, it's darker than that. Someone will get it somewhere.
Yeah, it is Tar. That's correct. I'd be careful about saying you're a fan of Little Children, though.
He's a fan of the film Little Children.
I'm a fan of the film.
But not too much.
Not too much, right. It's not like...
Just the right amount.
He's
an appreciator.
Yeah, I appreciate the artwork that goes into Salo or 120 Days of Sodom, but I'm not a fan of it.
Question 2. Peggy Parrish was the creator of what series of children's books that began in 1963? The series featured the titular housemaid that would misinterpret the commands of her employer to a comical degree, such as decorating a steak when asked to trim its fat, or hanging light bulbs from a clothesline when asked to put the lights out.
Why didn't they just fire her? That's what I want to know.
Because it was fictional.
It sounds like we're locked in, right?
Yep, I got this one.
Okay, children's books that began in 1963. I'm not big on children's books because, as we've specified, I like the movie Little Children. The series featured a titular housemaid. Is this Nanny McPhee? Or is that British? That's British. This sounds American.
Peggy Parrish. She could be British.
Let me see. I thought Nanny McPhee, though, was like really mean and had like a mole and like crazy teeth and stuff. So I don't think she would be dumb. I think Nanny McPhee was like a
sadist.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss though, Neal. So
I have no idea. Yeah, we'll just say Nanny McPhee, but I think that's absolutely wrong.
So I might be thinking of the wrong character, and you can officially lock in. But is this Amelia Bedelia?
It is. I have a 2-year-old. We've read Amelia Bedelia to him.
He's all about the Bedelia.
We've read it to him.
Okay.
He's not really into anything except just a general concept of books.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to be into as a 2-year-old. So Amelia Bedelia.
It is Amelia Bedelia.
Nice poll. I've heard of that book series, but I never knew what it was about. So at least I'll lock that one away.
I miss the days when I was just a general fan of book.
Or just anything that's read to you, like a phone book or menu or
Whatever they had on hand.
Final Rites or something. Just casually reading the Final Rites on a nice Saturday evening.
Yeah,
You know those go to sleep while we read you a boring story podcast?
Yeah.
They should do one that's Final Rites.
I'll tell you what.
Pretend that you're dead.
Anytime my parents read their will to me, it put me right to sleep when I was 3.
Hey, guys, I'm going to bookmark the Final Rites episode.
It's very comforting to know I'd be taken care of, if you know what I mean.
You're swaddled by the will.
I'll take care of you, Jeff.
In an equally somber topic, question 3. The International Nuclear Event Scale is used to measure the severity of nuclear accidents. To date, there have only been 2 accidents to be rated at the top of the scale with a score of 7, one being the infamous Chernobyl disaster, and the other being what earthquake-originated disaster that took place in 2011.
Yeah,
I'll give you 5 points if you can identify the country the disaster occurred in, and full points if you can name the power plant.
I was actually in Korea when this happened.
Oh, really? Oh, that must have been a little freaky. Not terribly close. Okay, so obviously Japan.
Yep. And I think it's Fukushima.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Fukushima's the name, maybe the name of the plant and the prefecture. So, yeah, Fukushima.
Yep, we said that this took place in Fukushima, Japan.
It was the Fukushima power plant in Japan. That's right.
Am I wrong in thinking I wrote down 3 Mile Island, but that was also a nuclear issue, right?
That was in the U.S.
But there wasn't a single fatality from that.
Okay, I just remember that's big in trivia, so that's why I wrote it down. But okay, I was just curious.
It's because it's the only.
Then there was the Thousand Island Mayo incident.
Okay, right, where people were slipping on the road and they kept falling.
Mm-hmm.
Question 4. Felicette was an animal launched into space by the French space program in 1963, and she remains the only animal of her species to have ever survived spaceflight. What kind of animal was she?
According to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Cosmo also is still with us.
Well, I mean, based on the name, I was thinking maybe a cat, but...
Yeah, it was kind of between cat and cockroach, and cat sounds nicer, so let's go with cat.
No, I think we want to send a cat because a cat is sexy. A pig is not. You cannot put lipstick on a pig and make it kiss you. I think we should go cat, personally. Because Felicette screams feline to me.
It does seem like the female cat, potentially.
Felicette seems like a cat sitcom character.
So 2 cats, please.
And a cat you shall receive. Felicette was a cat. I think originally it was called Felix the cat, but they discovered it was female, so they feminized it. Question 5. This question is going to be a little mini swing round where I'll give you 5 figures of American folklore, and you have to tell me if they were a real person that lived and breathed and died, or just something someone made up one day. You'll earn 2 points for each correct answer. So number 1, Pecos Bill. Number 2, John Henry. Number 3, Johnny Appleseed. Number 4, Paul Bunyan. And number 5, Davy Crockett.
All right, Tim. I think 2 of these are real characters or people.
Okay. I mean, Davy Crockett is the one I know.
Davy Crockett, definitely real.
Yeah.
Killed at the Alamo.
They're all real characters, Ken, if you know what I mean.
And I think Johnny Appleseed is a real person, but his exploits were exaggerated. The others, I'm pretty sure, are just tall tales.
It's like Paul Revere, like somebody else was slinging more apple seeds, or
sure.
I'm good with that. I was 50-50 on Appleseed, but
so the 2 reals are Appleseed and Crockett.
We said maybe not his name, but Johnny Appleseed was real. We said Davy Crockett was real, and we also thought John Henry was potentially real.
I agreed with you on that one because I think he was real, and then they catapulted his legend bigger. But we know Patrick Swayze portrayed Pecos Bill, so we knew that one was fake.
Yeah, pretty sure Paul Bunyan and his blue ox are made up, but...
Okay, so I'll go through them once more, and I'll tell you whether they are real or made up. So 1, Pecos Bill. He is made up, not a real guy. 2, John Henry was real, though his legends embellish his feats quite a lot. Number 3, Johnny Appleseed was real, His name was actually John Chapman, though. Number 4, Paul Bunyan, made up. There was no Paul and no Big Blue Ox. And number 5, Davy Crockett, is just straight up a real guy with a made-up sounding name.
After the first half of the second round, it looks like we are in striking distance. It is now 169 to 179. The enemy is at the gates, or the frenemy is at the gates, I should say.
And behind the lines.
Do you know who's in the movie Striking Distance?
No.
Bruce Willis. Takes place on a boat.
I don't like boat movies.
You don't, that's true. And
But what
Sarah Jessica
about
Parker.
if that boat is underwater?
Especially not then.
No, he would. The movie that would break Ken would be a movie that takes place in a boat that's underwater that is cast only with kids.
That would be the worst. Kid Sub.
Kid Sub.
Coming to theaters 2024.
Okay, that brings us to question 6. On May 1st of this year, an 84-year-old Canadian musician passed away. His career spanned 7 decades and will be remembered for songs like Ribbon of Darkness, Sundown, and Rainy Day People. What man am I describing?
All right, so Neal looks like he's up to date on his current events, and he locked in right away. Any ideas right off the bat here?
I should, and I know I'm going to know it as soon as I hear it. There's a running joke in our Discord because I'm always the first one to break the death news that I just actually have a hit list, and I can't remember who I supposedly killed.
You have a death note in your Discord?
Basically. I cannot remember who it was. I don't think I'm going to get there, but as soon as they say it, I'm going to be like, yep, that was it.
So you think you probably know it, but it's escaping you, and I think that I would have recognized this from my news feeds if it was somebody that I was familiar with. So we're just going to apologize to Neil Young because he's still with us and say Neil Young.
I'm sad that this is how I found this news out, but it's someone I liked quite a lot, according to Neil, and the other clues fit with what I know.
Bela Fleck?
No, Bela Fleck's American and much younger, but that's a really random poll, by the way. But no, someone I've made reference to on this show quite a lot, famous for a song called "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald."
Wow,
it's Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh,
that's it.
Yep, Gordon Lightfoot.
Of course, it's a guy named Gordon.
Yeah,
from
he's Canadian.
Canada.
Gordon,
the fisherman as well.
Question 7. The story behind a popular American beer's name is a bit unclear, with one account disputing the popular lore by claiming the only prizes awarded by the executive committee at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition were bronze medals. What beer brand is this quote referring to?
That makes a lot of sense, Jeff. We can lock in. And knowing what the beer is and that you've written down, I can smell someone drinking it.
Did you write down Heineken?
Did not write down Heineken.
Did you write down Pabst Blue Ribbon?
We did.
Do you agree with me, Tim?
I do. That's the first one that jumped to my mind.
All right.
The quote claims the prize for the competition was just a bronze medal, but one way or another, Gottlieb Pabst began to tie blue ribbons around his beers to promote them, leading to the brand Pabst Blue Ribbon.
The ribbons did not help the taste, though.
You're supposed to dip them in.
Well, we have the Chicago.
You're supposed to dip the ribbons. That's why.
I thought you were supposed to take the ribbon and hang it on your doorknob to tell people you've made good decisions that evening.
Well, we have the Chicago special or Chicago handshake here, which is the tall boy of Pabst Blue Ribbon and a shot of Malort.
You'll be shaking hands with the toilet.
Question 8. According to tradition, the names Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar are associated with what trio of men?
So I'm pretty positive on this one. I think this is a group of men who brought progressively worse and worse gifts to a certain person who was born.
Yeah, so you're saying the 3 wise men?
Yeah, the 3 wise men, the 3 magi, the 3 kings, whatever you want to call them. That's
it definitely felt biblical, and I couldn't get away from the men thrown in the fire, but that was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
A bumblebee, that's right.
If anybody wants to bring me gifts on my birthday, I'll take gold. You can leave the frankincense and myrrh behind. That's fine.
Correct me if I'm... Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was to say, I don't know. I don't really know if anybody knows what myrrh is, so you might have something valuable on your hands.
Okay,
there,
bring me it all, and then I'll sift through it later.
I believe isn't myrrh used in like embalming?
It might be.
Excellent. I've been looking for some of that.
It's a great gift for a newborn. Some embalming oils.
Yeah, we said that these men brought spearmint lifesavers, a jar of nugget,
and a travel-sized toothpaste.
Nougat, a travel-sized toothpaste, and then a copy of Amelia Bedelia. So we said 3 wise men.
Yep, 3 wise men, 3 kings, 3 magi, what have you. That's the name. The names they're traditionally gone by.
One was much wiser than the other two, though. Let's face it.
Well, one of them became a director of films.
The guy with the myrrh.
Do you think they were well actualing each other all the way through the desert to prove who was the wisest?
Did they all? Well, they all came from the east, right? But they didn't have to necessarily come from the same direction, Ken. So
well,
I like to picture them traveling together. It would be lonely otherwise.
They'll like join up, and they're like, "Oh, what'd you get him?" And it's like, "Oh, I got him some gold," and the other two are like.
We always think they arrive at the same time, so I figured they met up somewhere on the. Anyways, let's move on.
And Gaspar became one of your favorite directors, Ken.
Gaspar started directing really graphic films.
All right, question 9. In a section labeled Note G of a 19th century woman's notebook, she describes an algorithm for Charles Babbage's analytical engine to compute Bernoulli numbers. This algorithm is now considered the first ever algorithm designed with the intent to use with a machine computer, and because of this, she is considered the world's first computer programmer. Who is this woman whose namesake was also used for an early programming language?
Sounds like you guys are locked in. Any ideas, Tim?
No, and it's bothering me. I know this. What do you have? Anything?
Not really. I don't know really programming languages. I know Java and C++, whatever it is.
C++, DOS.
Here's a word I heard recently. Boolean.
Oh, like a Boolean sequence.
Boolean is a form of logic.
Okay, so not that. I mean, I really can't say anything else. All right, we're gonna go with a Lucky Boolean as last name. And that's not gold Boolean.
Or would it be Bool?
Yeah, we could say Bool.
Okay.
Not the monster from Sinister.
that would be Bagul. Jane Bagul, his nice sister who lives in the suburbs.
Yeah, Neal and I just locked in on somebody we knew was a 19th century woman closely associated with like early computing, and we guessed Ada Lovelace.
So Boolean is actually named after a guy. It's George Boole, but Ada, the programming language, is named after Ada Lovelace.
Mm.
Who was the daughter of what famous person, Neal?
Linda Lovelace. Is that what you were going for?
Lucy Lovelace.
I thought that was what you want. You were setting me up for.
What do you want? What do you want from us?
I don't know. I don't know what you want.
We know everything, Jeff.
I'm here to make jokes and get questions half right.
Go. Let's get the last question already.
The last question, question 10. In October 2022, athlete Ross Chastain did an action he later claimed was inspired by something he used to do in a GameCube game. The action drew media attention from people both praising his creativity and daringness, as well as expressing concern for the potential danger that his action presented. The action he did was technically legal in the sport at the time, but in January 2023, the organization he is a part of officially made it illegal. What sport does Ross Chastain participate in?
So Jeff, I know you want to say it. Who's the parent? Who's the father?
Lord Byron is her.
Oh, okay.
Her very famous father.
Lloyd Byron.
Lord.
Oh, Lord Byron. I was thinking of somebody else. So, do you think he spiked somebody off of a ledge? Is that? Do you think that was the action? Maybe not.
Jeff, I forget that people do partake in what you wrote down, and it just seems crazy enough to work. So if you want to go with that, I will trust you.
Yeah, I like it for some reason. I don't know why. But we'll lock it in.
I've got no clue on this one.
I have a thought, but I feel like the year is wrong. Maybe my timeline is just all messed up. But could this be... Was that when the one quarterback did like a fake slide and then kept running?
Well, I like it. A
so
slide,
it would be
fake slide.
Football. It would be football.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just because earlier this year I was watching a lot of extreme tag, but we just guessed tag.
So the sport that he participates in is actually NASCAR. And if you haven't seen this video, then I highly recommend watching it because it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And I don't even watch NASCAR. But what he did was he rode the wall at the finish, like on the outside of the track, to not lose any speed on the turn. And
I did see that.
By doing that, he was able to overtake 4 other drivers and finish in 5th place.
Sadly, in the second half of the second round, we have fallen a little bit further away. It's 189 to 219, but it can still be anybody's game in the final. What are our categories on which we will wager?
The categories in the final round are themed after a quintet of albums from my favorite band, Dream Theater. Categories are 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Train of Thought, Octavarium, Systematic Chaos, and Black Clouds and Silver Linings.
The wagers are locked in, and it's 30s all the way down for both teams. We're both going for the gold, so let's have the questions.
Okay, question 1 in the category of 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is a game in which a player tries to connect an actor to Kevin Bacon with a chain of movies that share actors. The degrees of separation lead to what's known as their Bacon number. For example, Emily Blunt was in Edge of Tomorrow with Bill Paxton, who was in Apollo 13 with Kevin Bacon, so Emily Blunt's Bacon number is 2. Try to come up with the lowest Bacon number you can for Jack Black. The team with the lowest number will receive their wagered points, and the other team loses theirs. If there's a tie, both teams get their wager. Question 2 in the category of Train of Thought. According to a 2019 report, what country reports the highest number of train passengers per year at around 25 billion, nearly tripling second place's 8 billion? Question 3 in the category of Octavarium. If you took the number of sides in an octagon, then added the number of sides in a heptagon, then subtracted the number of sides in a decagon, what polygon have you made? Question 4 in the category of Systematic Chaos. We're going to get a little wild and wacky with this one. I'm going to send a link to a Wordle game, and you can choose who on your team gets to do it. The only rule is you have to start with the word chaos. Once both teams are locked in, we'll have the solver read out their sequence of words. Whichever team got it in fewer guesses will get however many points they wagered, and the other team will lose however many points they wagered. If both teams tie, then both teams will receive the full amount of points they wagered. And finally, question 5 in the category of Black Clouds and Silver Linings. It all comes full circle with another question about the Big 4 sports leagues. Name the 3 teams across the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB whose team theme is based on pirates.
All right, we have our questions and puzzles, and we will be back and see who is the cream of the crop. We are back with our answers, and this has been a fun one. So let's find out who's going to win this game.
Okay, so for question 1, I asked you guys to connect Jack Black and Kevin Bacon in as few movies as possible.
Well, it seemed that both of us were committed to trying to use the Christmas special for Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Mm-hmm. But we decided to be safe because we didn't know if that counted as a movie. So we went with Tenacious D with Tim Robbins to Mystic River with Kevin Bacon.
That was a good one. Yeah, Jeff asked me if they were in the same movie, and I was like, I almost bet my life that they weren't an official movie at least. So we said Jack Black was in Weird Al with Rainn Wilson, who was in Super with Kevin Bacon.
What was that first movie? What was it called?
Weird Al.
Weird Al?
Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so full points for both
see, that
teams
should
on
be
that
an
one.
asterisk too, I think.
No.
All right, full points both teams, 30 points for both teams.
Question 2 was I asked you, what country reports the highest number of train passengers per year at around 25 billion?
We said a country with a lot of people and at least a fairly decent infrastructure, China.
Yeah, if you do the math, that's 68 million passengers a day. So originally we were thinking Japan, but that would mean almost more than half of Japanese people would have to ride the train every single day. So we guess China.
Well, it is Japan, actually.
Wow.
People love their trains over there. Question 3 was some polygon math. I asked you to add an octagon and a heptagon together and then subtract a decagon and tell me what polygon you've made.
Yeah, so octagon is 8, heptagon is 7. That makes 15. A decagon was 10. So we said a pentagon.
We said the humble pentagon.
It was the pentagon. Question 4, I gave you both a Wordle game with the same structure and told you to begin with the word chaos, and whoever got the answer and is in the fewest amount of guesses won.
All right, so we had a little bit of a hiccup here. So me and Tim were both playing the Wordle game independently, but using the same words. And so we used chaos, and then I said, how about right? And I typed in R-I-G-H-T, and he typed in W-R-I-T-E. And so we got a little too much information, but that led us to the word great. But we added 1 to our score for the little hiccup. So 3, asterisk 4.
Well,
so
you did put
4.
in 4 separate words.
So 4.
And for us, we put in chaos and then tired, alert, and then great. And we got great in 4.
So both teams receiving their full wagers on that one as well. And finally, in question 5, I asked you to name all of the Big 4 sports teams who are based on pirates.
Yeah, so we said, well, the Pirates, which are there in the question, Pittsburgh Pirates, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Oakland Raiders.
Yep. So we said the Pittsburgh Pirates, go Pirates. Then we said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we said the Las Vegas Raiders.
Close enough. I mean, you got the Raiders part of it. That's the important part. So Pirates, Raiders, Buccaneers.
That will conclude today's game. For Frenemy at the gates, we have 279, a very respectable score, but just edging us out there in the final. Behind Frenemy lines, 309. You are the cream. Wait, wow, you are the cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, good game, Jeff. Those were awesome questions, Jared.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel like we were neck and neck the whole game, and then even in the final here, we had the exact same questions right, same ones wrong. So
and a couple of asterisks.
A couple of asterisks.
Yeah, and had I gone with my gut with Japan, and had you guys gone with the right word, we could have been in the same boat. You could have won.
I feel like it's a moral victory, Tim, and you're a great partner. So I had a great time playing with you as well.
I did too, and I'll take that moral victory.
There are no losers on Triviality because there's no prizes. So
that's true. And you can carry that moral victory.
I guess the prize is we spent an hour and a half playing trivia with fun people.
That's right. There you go. You can carry that moral victory over to your new show. Where can people find it? What's it called? And any other final words before we let you go?
Yeah, so it's called Frenemy Trivia. It should be, by the time this airs, probably 3 episodes out. And anywhere you find your podcast, you can find it.
All right, please check that out, people. And Jared, we couldn't have had such a great time without you today. Can you please give any shout-outs that you wish?
Yeah, shout-outs to all my friends that helped me test this game. You know who you are. And shout-outs to all you guys for helping me have a great, what is it, Wednesday night.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you spending time with us. It's always great to hang out, play trivia, as Jeff said. Points don't matter, but it's the friends we make along the way. That's what really matters.
And we want to give a shout out to Airwave Media, our network. And they have such great shows as The Scientific Melody. How about When Things Go Wrong?
I do like Schadenfreude, so yes.
And Ben Franklin's World.
I am interested to see what disease he got when, so I'd like to learn that.
Check those out at airwavemedia.com. And that'll do it for today's show. Once again, I want to thank Jared and Tim for joining us today. For Jeff, Neal, Matt doing whatever he's doing, and myself, Ken, that was Triviality.